Hora gets one. They do want to push on to the players of Team A51, and this is not looking good. They did not have a lot of information. Ram is able to get one knock, but finally they flood out. They flood out and get that trade. DG19.
Oh!
1v4 gets one and eliminates him entirely. No backup available for Mafia Ninja. Put in a 1v2. It is doable considering both the players of Team Hora are separated. Only if he got that knock on Malik. It could have been a possibility, but Hora will be able to shut A51 down. They have lost a player, which is not good, but at least they survive.
Pretty much. Hora Esports coming out on top in that engagement, but AST now, they want to be the next challenger approaching in this compound. They want to make sure that this third party is going to be on the point. Zio has tossed in that Molotov. But look at one more player from AST. Ajaya just creeping and crawling his way against the opponents, wanting to get up close and personal on their faces. And Malik still going for that utility toss position. Compromise, needs to go up against the shotgun. And that's it. AST finds the opening. And still Sky's going for the resurrection on No Fear. The players of AST, they've got no clue where the remaining players of Hora are. The man in the front spotted. Sky finds the opening once again. AST, this might just be the beginning for the end, but no! From the back, it's going to be the players of Leo Esports knocking on the door. And AST, they get that unwanted help. Well, and they're pretty much good inside the game now.
Great job done by AST to realize that the fight that happened earlier on for Hora did not went their way completely. But how long did that revival take? I mean, it's a 10-second revive, but it felt like eternity. I think that there was a lot more time, or maybe a misclick because of which the revive got cancelled midway, which essentially led to Hora's elimination. Because one player, how much could he do? He draws a lot of utility. He had a lot of utility on his feet. Tried his level best, but was not able to get the job done. In the meanwhile, VKES get eliminated by a combined effort of DXD and DRS. Another team taking an exit over here. Leo Esports, they needed a good start. They finally have a great zone to work around with. Let's see if they're able to convert it into a great game as well.
Oh. Nade? Overcooked. At least Jiggle should have an idea now what's going on around him. And that too, it's Aegon Excited. Two Alpha Titans looking forward to clash against each other. Is this clash really going to happen though? Aegon Excited, even they're trying to be like the Lions that do want to name this territory, or at least they want to get as much control of this area as they can. And it's a good thing too, right? You might as well try to spread yourself a little bit far apart from each other and try and get as much as land control as possible. That's going to help you in the future so much. But especially when you are surrounded by another team like Raw Esports, it really gets too tough when you do not even have the information on the enemies at all.
Look at the zone though. Now you really have to fight it out against the players of Team Raw. Because Raw can just crawl their way back inside the zone, but you will be pinched. Or you can just go down the hill, maybe rotate, go for a longer rotation, and I believe that's what Aegon XI8 is going for, just all the way around, not taking that fight against the players of Team Raw. They have solid cover, Raw, they have a compound, one of the player is holding an off angle, so that's all good. DRS in the meanwhile, with the vehicle, is trying to get some information onto the players of Team DXD, and I believe Sujayan has been spotted down. An 8 being cooked, Killer does not care, he just wants to barge in. Sujan, in the meanwhile, will be able to spray the player of DRS down. The nade confirms the knock for sure. But then DXD now in a 3v3. 1-9 wants to retaliate, wants to give some cover fire to his fallen comrade. Sujan needs to get that revive. Mighty is going for a very risky move over here. All out in the open. One nade could just spoil the party for DXD. With that brave decision, I thought would just come out good. But then XMPL lands a nade. Eliminates the player. Mighty outside the blue, this could be hurtful. He is able to get inside the zone on time and will regroup with the team. So DXD, for a second, I thought might have that jump onto the players of Team DRS, but that first knock, that trade knock, and then the nade confirmation did not really go their way.
DRS in front of us, and now they're facing off against the players of Avon Esports or Avon NB. Deathstorm being the last man alive. I'm not going to lie, for Avon NB, the communication has been an issue for almost 1.5 years now. I've been witnessing this team for a long time, and for Avon NB, the communication has been an issue since then. And still, up till now, it just feels like the issue hasn't been sorted out. I think so they just need someone who's going to be able to make the calls even better. But for now, Aegon Excited against the players of Raw. Jiggle knocked down and instantly finished off. So Aegon Excited getting a massive advantage inside the fight itself. Leo Esports too looking for the third party, looking for to chime inside the fight. But Raw Esports, they've already lost out on one of the best players that they can have. And Sleepy is still alive. So you can't say that's like a saving grace for them. But Sleepy, he's all the way in the back lines, and even he's pinned down, so Sleepy cannot do anything. Zordy needs to be there for Sleepy's rescue.
Yeah, Sleepy will just drop a smoke and fall back. They have the zone, so unnecessary risk is something that you just should not take. Great job done by him falling back, just playing for survival right now. You know you're on top. Meanwhile, though, Leo is dishing out good damage. A third party maybe from Falak. Yes, it is Falak who gets that knockout to Nova. And look at where the players of Team Leo are separated from each other, far away from each other. So the revival on Nova is not going to be easy at all. For Aegon X8, Crypto is down, and I believe they've just given up on him. Aegon will be just carrying, take out the players of Team DRS.
Hello.
It's DRS out of the game.
DRS taken out of the game. DXT, they've still got a couple of more issues on lineup so far. The position that the players of DXT have, it's quite risky. They're in between of two teams, and that too, when DXT, they are going to try to make it inside the circle. The problems are just going to keep on stacking on top of each other. And Suki gets the resurrection on the fallen player. AST in the back lines, they should be okay too. But as soon as Suki gets this res that I'm talking about, then problems are going to even increase for DXT. Because those two guys can definitely try to be the guardian angels of the edge lines. Aegon Excited in front of us. And speaking of this team, they have currently managed to sort of suppress the players of Leo Esports at least for a couple of more seconds, because Leo isn't really trying to make a move on top of them. But Aegon Excited has to be the one to make a move against the players of Leo Esports, because they need to squeeze themselves in the save zone, which can be a tough and a daunting task. But one of the players on the side of Aegon Excited, he does have the off angle. GG and DXT, the battle continues. As I mentioned, as soon as Suki gets the resurrection onto the fallen comrade, these guys are trying to be the guardian angels and pretty much try to hold the opponent's players off at bay.
Ooh, kill feed once again.
Flag.
Just showing that the players of Team Aegon X8 are in a misery. They were already reduced to just 2, and now I believe it's only a solo player surviving. That too against Leo, I don't think so that is going to last for long. Royce puts on the other hand, Zodi and Sleepy slowly and steadily making their way inside the zone. Plus, they have a lot of vegetation around them, a lot of trees to work with.
Vegetation.
I believe they will. Yeah, there's a lot of grass there, man. A lot of grass, a lot of bushes. What do I call it? It's just vegetation for me.
Oh, sorry, Pondo zone.
They just are snakes in the grass surviving. Malaboy attracting a lot of attention towards him, a lot of shots being thrown at that particular player. Suki falls. AST is still in action. Incus has been able to deliver another knock. And yeah, AST is looking good. I believe Suki will be completely eliminated. But then, Incus, he did not know about the players of Team DXD. Nobody will be able to spray him down.
Yeah, big blunder from Incus indeed. Getting up close and personal and then getting knocked out. This is what you call the hunger for the elimination, and that's something that really cost him his life. He was too greedy in getting the elimination point claimed, and now DXD out and over, they might as well just bring back to life. Incus is trying his best to back away, get the resurrection up, but might be a tough pill to swallow for the players of AST, because maybe Incus can be shut down right here, right now. AST, they've got their own problems to deal with as well, because on the sidelines, even Leo Esports is now starting to be a big problem. DXT looking forward to make that pounce against the players of AST. So many confusing things happening.
Ooh, let's see, still not getting that revival, I believe. Nobody in the meanwhile has been able to eliminate the squad of Team GG. That nade landed perfectly onto his opponents.
Vikings 5 point nice, A1 point nice.
Tossing utility left and right. Spots down the player of DXD. Mighty in trouble. One more bullet might just do the job, but he survives. Final pixel not found. In the meanwhile, nobody... What is he doing? All out in the open. Mighty is essentially able to trade him out. But then AST, I think the job is done. You are at the edge of the zone. Should not be a problem getting inside. In the meanwhile, nobody will attract a lot of attention. Nades being cooked. Incus has 6 nades. I don't think so. This revival is going to come through. And it won't, because Incus just lands the first one. Says Kobe, tosses it out, eliminates 2 different players.
Pretty much.
Bye, 7
Incus, I mean, this deadly force is back up on his feet once again, so what do you expect? He's just wrecking havoc in the lobby so far. AST looking so good and so informed, but now Malapo's position compromised as well, and from the back it's going to be a stab from Incus to shut the man down, the last remaining man from DXD. Devil X Dragon down and dusted as we shift on forward towards the players of Leo Esports now. And Leo, the Summer Down line do know that in the front lines are the players of AST, and just like that, even Aegon Exide has been eliminated. Leo Esports out and over. This sudden shift in the playstyle, I'm just loving it. Leo Esports, good adaptation from them. And it just feels like yesterday, the downfall that we saw from Leo Esports has really affected them. And now they have come over here to show their perfect gameplay. And this is the Leo Esports that we've known in the past as well. If Leo Esports does manage to establish this comeback, I'm not going to be surprised, because this is what you expect from Leo Esports. Raw Esports being eliminated with 8 elimination points. That's a solid outing from Raw Esports too. So you can't say that consistency is still on the board.
Yeah, but I believe we just cast because Leo Necro. They just lost
Enough
the
good
player.
bets
Yet
for Raw.
had a really good angle onto one of the opponent. But then it just got spotted down, and now Noah being sprayed upon. No cover to work with. Now pinned behind the rock, and I believe outside. So Leo will be losing another player if that is the case. Oh, never mind. He is still inside the zone, but 4 nades for Incus. With the accuracy in terms of the triple utility that Incus has, I don't think so. That smoke will only help Incus and give him that false sense of security to toss a few nades maybe. That's how the case, he just falls back. Look at that though. He has 9 frags himself. His team has 14 frags. It will be a very big chicken if they're able to get this.
Yeah, AST definitely aiming for that nuclear game here. 14 eliminations wrapped up so far. Going for that 15, maybe 16. But yeah, AST, if they do manage to get this one, this is going to be a big propel for themselves in the overall standings, because even AST, they were not really in that much of a solid spot. Leo Esports, Nova trying to create that off angle. But right now, Noah's main concern should be to make it inside the safe zone. Leo Esports looking forward to make the moves. And the players now spotted out too. AST losing out on a couple of players themselves. Incus knocked out. It's all down to Ajaya now from the side of AST. Leo, they've got 2 players up and alive. Ajaya trying his best to play as safe and sound as possible on AST. This might just be it. And yes, it is. Leo Esports, that push they made on the time. Perfectly done, especially the man who was pinned behind the rock. Even he chimed in, shut down Incus at the right moment. Everything just went so according to the plan. Leo Esports, solid stuff. That push was mainly made to let that player who was pinned behind the rock activate himself. And that's what exactly happened. As soon as the push was made, every single player from AST was just focused on that push. And that's where the man behind the rock just came back to life.
Wow, what a game. What a game by the players of Team Leo. Perfectly played. The vehicle sound, I believe, made Incus turn towards the vehicle. That's the exact point when the player of Team Leo just... Over onto the players of Team AST. Perfect timing, perfect knock. The trade was also there. And now in a 1v2 situation, 2 different angles to play with. Yeah, that's never a good thing for your opponent. So AST just pins down.
Short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
মোবাইলটি
A1NB একটা চলতেছিল না যেটাতে টাইম বার্নার আর তো অফিসিয়াল নাম্বার লিকড আপনার নাম্বারে কল দিলে এমনি কাটি দেন হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ নাম্বার লিক করে লাভ নেই কারণ এটা আমার নাম্বার না কে ফোন করছে আই ডোন্ট নো চলো না কেন এটা নেট চলে গেল নি
বিষয় না
ডেডিজি অনেক পিছায়
I think for Leo is they
Yo, esports, this was a comeback that we all sort of wanted to see, and finally
এই
we're
শালাদের
seeing
কি
this
চুপ
comeback
করা
from
মুখ
them.
এমনি
We
এদের
knew
গেম
somewhere
মিউট
down
টিউট
the line
করে
that
যাওয়ার
what
কোনো
Leo esports
অপশন
is
নাই
capable
শালা
of, and they were just not really able to perform to the fullest potential. But I'm loving this rise up from them.
Yeah, that's true, Leo. They performed perfectly as per our expectations. We had some expectations on day number 1, but finally they're able
Guys,
to
যারা
perform on day
দেখতেছেন একটু
number 2,
like
and it's
দিয়ে
all
দিন।
fine. It's all good. If they can make a comeback, get back into top 3, no more complaints for Leo. But that's a good start. That's a good start. They got what 8 or 9 eliminations overall. Add 10 points in terms of the chicken dinner. 18, 19 points is not a bad game at all. On the other hand, though, even Raw, they had a decent start. They had good number of frags early on, but then in the mid game they started losing players. They only had 2 towards that end circle where it was just Sleepy who was trying to survive, got naded out, but still ended up on that 3rd spot. And they also had decent number of frags.
8
So
eliminations.
good game for them too. But then AST bro just dropped a nuke. They had Incus had 9 frags himself, just solo. 14 for the entire team. I guess 15 because that final nade also got a frag onto Liquid towards the end. So AST also played brilliantly. We will see AST jumping up a little bit up in the overall standings as well. And a great job done by all the other teams as well. DRS, another name that I almost forgot. DRS also had a good game. They had 5 or 6 frags, were in top 7 or 8. So they got what 3-4 points from position, 5-6 points, 8-9 points. Not a bad game at all for a team on the 13th spot. So they will be moving forward. They will be getting some extra points because of this game. They are trying to get that comeback happening.
Man, but I'm not gonna lie, what Incas just pulled off over there was miraculous. And
Yeah.
let me tell you something about Incas in the past as well, because Incas
Okay.
is a man that I have been following for a long time. Yes, back in the day, his team was completely different. Now it's completely different. A lot of these individual players are quite separated out this time. They're quite spread out in different teams. And that's actually helping some of these players, and some of these players are not even able to perform because of that. But Incas over here in the AST lineup, at least in this previous game, he was able to shine up to the fullest potential, getting those massive elimination points wrapped up. Also, the second spot in the previous game. That's going to propel AST in a solid spot in the overall standings, without a doubt. Maybe the first half of the board, somewhere closer to top 5 as well. So AST now, even they themselves have a solid chance at winning the championship, but they just need to have the consistency up. If they get another big game in the upcoming game in Miramar, you might as well just count them in as the champions.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they're able to get a great game, as you said, they just might be able to run away with the trophy. But still, we will have to witness that game of Miramar, the land of DMRs and snipers, as I love to say it. But before that, we will have some statistics for you, MVP, overall standings, everything. I think you guys already know the drill.
Of course, it's going to be
that's something. Yeah, that's something we will go through. But yeah, it is going to be a fun Miramar game. But yeah, just before that, let's have a look at which player had the most impact. I believe it's Incas. There shouldn't be any doubt about that. 9 frags is what this guy had, and he just obliterated everyone in the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, this man was on a mission, getting 1,335 damage wrapped up with 9 eliminations, an assist of 3. This man managed to get the survival time of 26:56 and 7 knockouts secured too. Incas, a monstrous play indeed, with so much damage wrapped up. This man single-handedly was just carrying his team on the back without a doubt. But then another couple of teams that we saw trying their best to perform in the entire lineup was also Raw Esports, that you brought their name up. I mean, they did have 8 elimination points at the end of the day, and also they managed to get eliminated on the 3rd spot, if I'm not wrong. So that's a decent amount of points considering you're still on the first half of the board, and all you needed to do was just keep yourself consistent and pinned down to the first spot. So I guess Raw Esports, they've successfully done that. And as we move on forward towards the top 5 players, you're going to see Sleepy there too with 4 eliminations. Then Zio from AST there too with 3. You're going to see Ajaya from AST and
Sleepy
Noah from Leo Esports.
Hello,
Great performance by all of these teams because they essentially ended in the top 4, top 3 teams. So we expected them to be here. Nobody is challenging Incus in this very first game. Sleepy, we do see 4 frags, but I guess 2 or 3 of them were very early on. So it was just on the basis of him having a better weapon. But yeah, will work out for our esports. AST, the number of frags were just too good. They have been able to topple down Leo Esports in the match ranking over here, 21 points to their name. Leo has 18, Raw following them with 13 points.
Oh man, I mean the match rankings, even though as I mentioned Leo Esports winning that game, it's not going to matter. AST just dropped a massive nuke on the map, and that's why they are currently at the top as well, just leading the chart. Raw Esports, 13 points, as I mentioned. This is not bad at all. You're on the first spot already. All you need to do is pin that first spot down, and these type of consistent games are definitely going to help you to pin that spot down. But as we do move on forward towards the latter half of the board, this is where you're going to see some upsets. FPG, a team that yesterday had the ball rolling in their court, and we thought that maybe today as well the momentum's going to transfer over. But no, instead, that's not the case. They got eliminated completely with 0 points. And then the same thing can be said for US, and the same thing can be said for the side of Blue Lions. These 3 teams managed to get no points in that previous game. And as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming game is going to be the game of Miramar. Maybe it can be a big start for FPG because that's what they're probably going to be looking for. And one thing is for sure, Aegon Exide has toppled them over in the overall standings.
Oh, that's going to be interesting to see if Aegon X8 have moved up because they had good points, right? Like, what,
they
5
had
or 6 points?
FPG, they only had 58 points when we started the day. Aegon Exide had 57. Aegon Exide, all they needed were 2 or 3 points. So that's easily a topple over. So Aegon Exide, once again, is going to be back on the spot they were. And FPG is going to be pushed down to either the 3rd spot or the 4th spot. So this might just be a really tough pill to swallow for FPG.
Yeah, not the best possible start for FPG. But then again, they picked up momentum on the last 2 games yesterday too. I mean, if that's the pattern they're going for, then the next 2 games are going to be somewhere in between for FPG. But hopefully they perform a little bit better. I'm more excited to see the difference between the first and the second team because even now Raw had a great game, 13 points to their name. That's not bad at all. So how many points did Aegon XI8 were behind? I believe 8. That number is just going to increase. It still should be around a 20-point deficit for Aegon XI8 to achieve in the next few games. So not going to be easy at all. Maybe just look at where the players of Team Raw Esports are dropping. Go ahead for a drop clash and then try to eliminate them. Maybe a targeted drop. Stuff like that, but I don't think so that'll happen. Both these teams are just going to play their natural game, their usual game, and try to win it out fair and square.
I mean, once again, as long as you're going to keep yourself in the top 5, that's all that matters. But you know what? Enough speculations. Let's move on forward and take a look at the overall standings because that's going to be breaking the ice quite a bit. As we do move on towards the overall standings, FPG, they've lost out in that 2nd spot, and instead they're going to move down to that 3rd spot. As I mentioned, as long as you're going to be in the top 5, that's all that's going to matter because imagine if you keep yourself consistent in the upcoming 5 games, you should be good to go. You will have the championship in your hands because one thing is for sure, Raw Esports will have at least one or the other game which is going to be a massive slip up, so you can't try and capitalize onto that. But look at AST, a big leap in the overall standings, 4 position jump. The same thing is there from Leo Esports as well, and now even these guys are back in the race for the championship.
AST, Leo, both these teams had great performance in the previous game, both of them jumping 4 spots up. So 10th and 11th is what they were earlier at, 6th and 7th right now. Good job done by them. Let's see if they can hold on to the number of points that they got in the previous game. Can they increase it? That's going to be the big question. For Raw also had a decent game. 55 points is where they are at. 15 more points to try and get that first spot. Not going to be easy at all. DXD, another team that we did not talk a lot about, but they got what, like 8 points, I believe, from the previous game. So that's also a great thing for DXD. Helps them to climb a little bit up in the overall leaderboard. But still, 11th position, a lot of work is to be done.
But A1...
That is super true. But now, speaking of the teams that are all the way on the 14th, 15th, and 16th spot, for them, you might as well say that things are done.
মতো
Things are done. You cannot make it that much of a
12
big
নম্বর
comeback
পজিশনে
in just remaining 5 games. Unless if you're going to have
ব্যাড লাক
all 5 games like a massive game, then maybe there's a chance that you can probably make a comeback, which is next to impossible to expect because you need to also speak with the stats and the facts. And the facts pretty much say that these 3 teams can be out of the race pretty much, including DRS Gaming as well. And maybe you might as well try to count A1NB because the latter half of the board, now the chances are even slimmer.
Sub 30 is something you cannot afford to be after 7 games are over, and that's where all of these teams fall. Like 28 points for A1NB, a lot of expectations from them, but they're not able to perform accordingly. DRS, once again, they do have good number of frag points, but then if you do not balance it out with placement points, you will be on the later half. So that's something that they need to work on. The next game is going to be on the map of Miramar, which is going to be important for a lot of teams. But let's see, top 5 is where my eyes are right now. All those 5 teams need to perform to the fullest.
That is true. Top 5 should be the way to go. FPG is currently on the 3rd spot, but they're not too separated from getting eliminated from that top 5 spot. So this upcoming game in Miramar has to be a solid performance. Imagine the amount of pressure these teams are going to be having inside this upcoming game in Miramar, because this is going to be the dictator of the pace for the upcoming maps. So this game of Miramar is going to be a game changer. Leo needs another solid game. AST needs another solid game in order for them to breach inside the top 5, which is not impossible at all. As I mentioned a while ago too, Raw Esports, one thing is for sure, no matter how consistent you try to be, there's always going to be that one single game or 2 games might as well where you're not going to be able to perform, and that's where the teams that are right underneath you can try and capitalize instantly and maybe take over that first spot, because that's what Aegon X I8 are looking forward to do. And this upcoming game in Miramar is something Aegon X I8 will definitely try to capitalize on, because I8 has been known for their Miramar games a lot of the times in the past as well.
Yeah, their gunpowder is just too good to deal with on this particular map. They know how to use those ridges perfectly. Plus the drop location that they go for, I mean, let's be honest, that city is filled with tier 1 loot. They always come out with level 3 gear. They always come out with the perfect utility with their preferred weapons. So I mean, stopping Aegon after that is a little bit tough. But then again, in yesterday's day, the plane path was not their friend. I mean, it was very far away. Aegon was struggling in terms of the rotation because they had to travel like 25 to 3,000 meters away from the plane path to get to their drop location. It took a good about 3 minutes, and they had to loot very quickly. So some things were not going their way. Hopefully, this map of Miramar is a little bit better so that we can see a tough competition between the top 2 teams.
Indeed. I mean, this Miramar is definitely going to be a tough competition without a doubt. Because as I mentioned a while ago, 2 neat teams are once again back in the race. Even on the latter half of the board, there are still those 3 teams who are looking forward to grab that opportunity, including DRS. Now, even DRS do have a solid shot at the championship. If they do win this upcoming game, if they do get this chicken dinner in the upcoming game, then DRS can instantly propel themselves in the 6th spot. That's what I'm saying, in the 6th spot. So DRS, they need this game of Miramar. All the other teams, they're going to be in a massive pressure. But as I said, from teams that are on the 12th to the 16th, they can have a chance to play the spoiler. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. As the next game loads up on the screen, the plane flat path starts in between Impala and Puerto Paraiso towards all the way opposite side, which is going to be down south. Now, I really want to see this plane flat path, considering it's completely towards the southern side. It's going to catch a couple of these teams off guard. And plane flat path completely on one side, that means it's going to be a hell of a stretch for a lot of the teams that likes to go all the way towards El Pozo, El Azahar, Hacienda del Patron, maybe even San Martin. Man, it's going to be a tough one.
Well, certainly it's going to be a tough one, Neeraj, because all those teams, like you said, who likes dropping in towards the side of Campo Militar, La Cooperaria, they have a very long journey ahead. And in the map of Miramar, well, it's certainly very difficult. But on this side of Leos, like Fritz was telling, they like dropping in towards Los Leones. So I think they are going to be pretty happy.
Pretty much. And then, as Aegon X I8, as you mentioned a while ago too, dropping towards Los Leones, no issues over there. POC, a drop collision against the players of ISSL Noob Alliance in Puerto Paraiso. Don't get me wrong, Puerto Paraiso is a big city, but still, there's a chance these 2 teams can actually lock horns, and I want to see them lock horns. because it's been a while since I've seen that early collision. And as you see those, that's something that really gets me riled up.
আরে
Even
জোন
NB
সব
dropping
সময়
inside the Los Leones
অপোজিট সাইডে কেন যায় ভাই,
dropping
একটা এই সাইডে থাক।
against the players of Aegon Exide. I'm not sure how
আবার
good of a
এখানে
choice
I8 এর
this
সাথে
is
এখন
going
ফাইট
to be,
হবে।
but as I mentioned, teams from 12th to 16th spot, they do have a chance to play this
I don't know
because you
ফাইনালে
might as
যায়
well
আসলে
try to
এমন
count yourself out of the
ডিসিশনগুলো কেন
championship.
নিতেছে বা আসলে কি প্রুফ করতে
Well,
চাইছে। I
speaking
don't
of
know.
spoiler, you were mentioning about DRS
এর সাথে
as well, that
fight.
this game is
I8
very
has
crucial for the players of
two তে আছে,
DRS. They
না
have to
three তে
perform
আছে।
really good if they want to come in top 5. But looking at the stats, yesterday on day number 1 in the map of Miramar,
যারা
well,
ওদিকে
DRS
ব্যাক
managed to
করবে
get
সেন্ট
only
মার্টিন
5 and 2
হাসিয়ান্ডার দিকে
points. So
যাবে,
chances are
ওয়াটার
really slim.
ট্রিটমেন্টের দিকে
As
যাবে,
long if,
চলে যাবে
but if they have
ফার্স্ট
worked on
রোটেশন।
their weakness, maybe this can be a good
বুঝতে
game
পারলেও
because
ভালো একটা
DRS in
প্লেস হতে পারে।
rotation
ওদিকে
they're
যারা
already
যাবে
ahead of so many teams.
তাদের
They
ম্যাচ
can
হতে
already
পারে।
occupy
আর
a very
জোনটা
golden
অলওয়েজ
spot
ওদিকে
in
যাচ্ছে,
this circle.
মানে অপোজিট দিকে,
Indeed,
প্লেন
can.
পাতের অপোজিট দিকে
And
অলওয়েজ।
especially when
প্রথম
DRS
মিরাঙ্গেল
is
ম্যাচেও
actually towards,
একদম অপোজিট।
or actually moving towards
Chill.
San Martin. As you mentioned, they can be a little bit more proactive. They can get a better spot inside the circle, and they can start off with
I8
great
সাথে
loot
fight
in
করতে
order
চাই না
to,
রে
if they do
ভাই,
want to
I8
make
এর
sure
সাথে
that
fight
they're
চাই
holding
না।
off a couple of teams. They can have a head start. But I just really want to see that drop collision that's currently happening towards Los Leones and even towards the Paraiso. Because if A1NB gets eliminated off the bat just like that against the players of Aegon Exide, which the
আরে
chances
এটা
are
তো
highly
আল্লাহর
likely,
ওয়াস্তে ভাই,
then this is going to
একটা
be a
fight
massive heartbreaker for the fans.
Well, it is certainly
POC
going to
একটা
be,
fight
and
with ভাই।
looking at the position of POC in the overall ranking, right now they are at the bottom. Even ISL Noob Alliance, they are also at the right bottom on the 16th spot. So this game is very important. Maybe we can
দুইটি
see
fight
either of
হইতেছে,
these
যারা একদম
teams
লাস্টে
backing
আছে
off from a
তাদের
fight
দুইটাই fight
because
হইতেছে guys।
elimination at the 16th spot is something
Allah.
none of them want right now. And for now, I can already see the UB going for a vehicle.
ফ্ল্যাঙ্ক দিতেছে।
And maybe he'll try to go on an uphill angle and provide as much information to his teammates as much he can.
POC? I mean, prioritizing the loot, I like that. ISSL Noob Alliance.
ফাইট গুলা মানে
Same thing can be
এমন
said for them, but
last
Noob
match-এ
Alliance does not
মানে
really have
সুযোগ
a lot of
সৃষ্টি করে
buildings
ওরা
underneath their control. So you
কেমনে মারা গেল
can,
আমি
somewhere down the
বুঝলাম না
line,
last
maybe
match-এ।
say that the loot
এই
can
match
be a
দেখা
little
যাক
bit
কি
low.
করে।
But I like the fact that POC, what they're doing, 2 players inside the city, 2 players on top of the hill. They're pretty much trying to make sure that the opponents are going to be in a deadlock. And once that deadlock is there,
OBSD
maybe the
করতে পারলে ভালো
execution
হইতো।
can
OBSD
follow up too.
মানে আমার boys
A1NB, they're
আসতেছে,
dropped
but
inside Los Leones right
boys
against the players of
আসতেছে
Aegon
না।
Exide.
setting আছে কিনা, I
But
don't
considering
know।
Los Leones is a really
আমার কাছে
massive
শুধু
city,
Mac
I
আছে,
still
Mac
remember
এসব।
inside,
I don't
back
know
in the
how
day
many
when
times
Los
হয় না
Leones,
কি।
drop collision
দেখা
used to be a thing. 3
এখন
teams
আমি
used to drop
stream
inside
friendly
Los
movie
Leones.
করতেছি।
So 3 teams without even locking horns, they can't move peacefully. That's how big Los Leones is. Before now, Noob Alliance in
Nare
heavy
bhai.
fire. POC could have had the opportunity to get the first
Always
knockout,
by
but
Frank
unfortunately the shots were missed.
Shots were missed, at the same time the location has also been compromised. The flank angle which the UB was trying to create has already been revealed to the players of Noob Alliance, and now Dayubi, well, he has to reposition himself, otherwise he'll be coming under heavy fire from the side of IS Noob Alliance. And looks like POC, they're already backing off from this fight because I can see the remaining players also trying to reposition themselves. So kind of a deadlock situation which you were talking about. But speaking of Core, his position has not been compromised, and he can be that cheeky player to take down one of the player from the side of ISSL who is already on a very low HP.
ISSL.
Nice, 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 nice.
Moving
Shout.
vehicle spotted. Totter knocked out. This can be an easy confirmation. No issues onto that regards. Totter's position compromised. The confirmations followed up as well. No issues. Core is one of those players definitely to be feared. And POC being able to find that first blood definitely helps them quite a lot for the future maneuvers inside this fight. Lucifer's up close and personal. He can definitely be a massive threat because Core's left side is quite exposed, and that's when the sidelines where Lucifer is holding really does chime in.
আচ্ছা লুসিফার
If
এখানে
Lucifer is able to spot that little bit of a back, that might just be it for Core. POC,
ফ্র্যাঙ্কে যেটা যাইতেছে ওটা
presence
ধন
of
না
mind is
যায়
something
বসে
that's
আছে
going to matter quite a
সবগুলা।
lot. And for now, one of the players from the side of Noob Alliance is actually trying to wrap it around all the way from the back lines on the top. You can see Mamata. So hopefully POC is going to be able to know that what exactly Noob Alliance is trying to establish here.
Looks like POC, they don't want to take any sort of chance, and they are already migrating towards the
ভালো
circle
ভালো
because
একটা kill
even the
আছে
circle is
এই
quite few
decisionটাও better
meters
কিন্তু
away from them. So
যেটা একটা kill
prioritizing
আসছে
the
বেড়ে
circle
যাচ্ছে
at this point is something which POC players are
কেন
right now
যেন
focusing
ভাই
on after getting
ভালো
that one
team,
defeat
but
point.
ওখানে গিয়ে
And on the other
finally
side,
গিয়ে
ISS, they
কেন
also
এরা
need to
এরকম
look out for the
করতেছে?
vehicles because the rotation and the journey inside the circle is not going to be so easy at all. But the gate case scenario is something that Noob Alliance also need to consider.
FPG, a
Both of them
team
are easy
that is currently on the 3rd spot in the overall standings. The previous game, they were able to get nada.
থার্ডে
None.
আছে ওরা
Now
দেখা
maybe
যাক
this, inside
এখান
this
থেকে
game, they can
ভালো ম্যাচ
get a
বাইর করতে
couple of
পারলে
more points. As I mentioned,
I8
consistency is
এবং
the key to
রকে
go.
ফাইট দেবে
5
but
more games in
I
your hands.
think
Even if you
I
do
think
manage to get what, like
PMCO
11 points every single
এই
game,
PMCO
that can actually
Raw
make you the
esports
champions. Unless
deserve
Raw
it.
is able to get a
They're
chicken
playing
dinner, then
brilliant
yes,
in
that
final.
can be a whole nother story. But still, staying consistent should be the way to go for FPG because they've already lost out on the first game, but still they're in the top 5. They're in the 3rd spot. That's something that can be a big sigh of relief for them.
ভালো লাগে Vikings এর PG but
Let's
the
see if
main
that's
four.
going to happen or not. But speaking of one team that tends to perform really well in the map of Miramar is going to be the players of Raw Esports. Even in the last season of PMPL, Raw Esports impressed me the most the way they approached the map of Miramar. And yesterday also they managed to, I think, get a chicken dinner in the very first Miramar and come on the 2nd spot in the 2nd Miramar. So yeah, this
UG
is
র একটা push হতে
definitely
পারে।
a very strong map for Raw. On
আরে
the other
শালা
side,
UG
speaking
না
of Vikings,
A51
well, they are playing in a very segregated manner in a split position. But for the players of DRS, I'm really
DRS
shocked to see
place টা
DRS
ধরতে
on the
পারলে
2nd
ভালো
page.
হতো।
They are somewhere near the
ওরকম একটা
bottom
ছোট
of the
compound কেন
leaderboard.
করছে কে জানে।
So
যাই হোক
let's see if they
যাক,
can
জোনের ভিতরে যদি
try and get some good points in this
এক্সিকিউট
one.
করতে পারে কোনো
Oh,
সমস্যা নেই
next circle is going to be on the board soon, and it's going to shift towards
ভালো
Cruisedale
rotation
Valley.
দিছে Sinister
Interesting shift. FPG being the proactive
the
ones,
Valley,
trying to
আমি
get the
বলছি
prime
by
control
first day,
in
bye.
their hands, and they've actually managed to do so as well. So they've got
Sinister
the
ভালো
best
rotation
compound they
দিছে
can
যদি
ask
ধরতে
for,
পারে
the prime positions in their hand.
মিরামারে
If they
ভাই
want, they can
প্লিজ
try to
ভাই
be the griefers and try to hold off a couple of teams that might
এই
just try to
মিরামারে একটা
rotate
চান্স আছে
in the better spot, or at least
একটা ভালো
rotate
position
towards the
ধর
centric spot of the circle.
তোর একটু মার
That's what
ভাই
FPG can
মার
try to do, but so far FPG, they're just prioritizing in a better spot, which is understandable too. The DRS is all doing the same thing. It's like a massive wave of vehicles just trying to breach inside from the southern side, and soon enough we're going to see a lot of fights, that's for sure. A1NB might just be in a big threat because they're moving towards a dangerous spot.
জোন পাই যাবে প্যারা হবে
Oh, certainly they are, and so many rotations are
ওরাও
also coming
ভালো
from the
রোটেশন দিচ্ছে
southern
ওরা ওখান
eastern
দিয়ে
side.
একদম সব খালি
The
পাচ্ছে
possibility of third party also tends to increase.
ওরা
But
কুজ দেবেলের
looking at
রাইটে যে
the
ধরতেছে
team
তাহলে
of
লেফট তো খালি
Skyhora,
থাকতেছে
they are
একটা টিমের
already
জন্য
going for a
এখানে
very
আবার
good rotation
পাহাড়ের
from
একটা
the
খালি
northern
আছে
end. From the side of
My
Torre
case,
Imuda,
DRS
they
থেকে
can
মারতেছে
already
বাট জোনে ভালো
try
ভালো ভালো
and have a
পজিশন
dominant control of the northern end of the
পাহাড় থেকে
circle.
মারবে ওটা
But
আলাদা
speaking of
বিষয়
Vikings also, they have managed to find a good compound, but they need to be careful of a team also lingering nearby. But
Oh,
Rex has spotted on the enemies, and looks like one of the player of A1B1 is already on a very low HP.
A51 A51
Kenai
লাগাবে
is
যদি
just
ধরতে পারে
pinned in the open.
ভাই বেরিয়ে যা বেরিয়ে যা
A1NB, once again, the problems continue.
বেড়ে যাচ্ছে যাক
Not good. I told you. The spot they're moving to is quite risky, especially when you've got so many teams approaching it from that same spot. And that compound is not that good as well. It's not something that's going to give you the prime control, but it's something that can definitely sail your boat. So I guess as long as that's happening, you should be good. Wind is currently in the sails off Aegon Exide as they're taking a dig against the players of Raw Esports, and they're also getting the advantage in that fight.
Important fight,
Sleepy is
guys.
knocked out for now. Sleepy is one of the
Ozone
prime
knock.
men
What
for the
if
side of
you-
Aegon Exide, but then you
Sala.
can also see in the elimination feed there's also a
Jigelo
third
knock,
party
Jigelo
from
knock.
POC. Man, there's so
ওজনে
many
কর
fights
কিল
happening.
ফিনিশ ক্রিপ্টো নক SG
And again, XIA, the players are losing those fights. Even the players of Raw Esports had managed to
Crypto,
see
এখানে
that two players of Raw
Jiggle
Esports have
commodity
already
knock
been
finish
knocked
করছে,
down, and
finish
looks
এটা
like
হওয়ার
Jiggle,
কথা।
he
আরে
has
ভাই
been
fight দেখা না
confirmed. So Raw Esports is also not in the best of the position right now. But speaking of
লিওর
Leo
ভালো
Esports,
পজিশন
yes,
আছে
they
এটাও
do
ভালো
have a good
পজিশন
compound to their name,
Yeah,
and
সবার
I don't see any
Assassin
threat
last
nearby.
ফালাকের
But
সাথে
can't say the same thing for the players of Raw, as Assassin with a grenade is trying to find a
Assassin.
knock onto Falak. A retaliation grenade also coming in, and Assassin going for a close frontal little battle. Looks like he's going to take down Falak, but before that, IQ comes in with a DBS
nice,
right in
nice,
the face
nice,
and
nice, nice,
marks an end for Raw Esports in this game.
Raw
Yeah, Raw Esports, the table toppers,
সুযোগ আছে i8 এর কাছে এই ম্যাচ
from
আগে
this
যাওয়ার
game. Egon Excited is the one to actually put that nail in the coffin too, even though POC was going for that third party from the back. Man, Egon Excited, they've definitely managed to conquer a massive monster inside this game, but let's see how this momentum is going to be carrying on forward. Because Egon Excited, Future Lights can be quite scattery considering they're still hugging the blue zone. ISSL New Alliance is way too close and personal, but these can be the elimination points that Aegon Excite can try to grab onto. And you can see that's what Aegon Excite are trying to do as well. They do know the players that have just entered inside the blue or entered from the blue itself. They're going to be quite chipped up.
Oh yes, they are taking a lot of damage from the blue, and Falak of Aegon Excited with the Mini 14 has managed to take down one of the player on the other side. AST, they have a job to do. They have to go for the rescue mission onto the fallen comrade. Slayer is also keeping a close eye onto ISSL, and looks like Zio from AST has managed to take down one player, and even the blue is also coming in. Looks like a very bad situation for the players of Noob Alliance, as Slayer with a vehicle is already closing in the distance where the rescue mission is going on. This is not the position where the players of ISSL wants to be in. One grenade will mark the end of both the players.
Oh, utility. So close. Jimmy so low. And Mamata now just trying to back away. ISSL Noob Alliance. They've been pinned down by the players of ASP, and ASP, they've proved themselves in the previous games, especially in Cuss. This man is not a man to mess around with. He managed to get 9 elimination points all by himself, so AST right now, you can't say the momentum, the wind is in their sails. And they're definitely looking forward to get the advantage of it. And they're trying to make the most out of it too. Trying to get up close and personal against the players of ISSL Noob Alliance, and when a team plays so defensively, clearly you know that team does not really have a lot of confidence in the fight itself, especially when you're controlling the entire terrain too. It makes a lot of sense. You should show that confidence in the fight. Two players trying to get up close and personal, but the blue is also dealing so much damage, so you're going to get chipped up quite a lot. AST, you might as well try to prioritize the position inside the play zone better, instead going for this fight, because this fight can be yours anytime. The play zone is something that you need to prioritize. AST finally finding that knockdown for the second blow too, but no, unfortunately, losing out on their own player, or almost losing out on that player, but already the damage is done. The damage has been dealt. Noob Alliance eliminated from the game, but AST, they're wasting so much time, and they're also getting chipped.
এরা যদি 15 এ শেষ হয় র কি রে এটা কি হলো সালা নেট গেল গা নাকি আমার
Also getting chipped up by the blue zone.
Well, they have horns with the players of GG. Lot of utility has been invested, but Ziol is having that
এদের কাছে র এবং আই8 দুইটাই কিন্তু
and try and take down at least one player from the side of GG, but DRS
থেকে মানে যদি বড় একটা ম্যাচ বাইট করতে পারে
on the other side. DI868 still holding on to his angle as the players of UG are trying to back away from this fight.
DRS এর एग्जांपल এখানে
DRS
UG
once again, I mean, they have managed to get the advantage against the players of UG. XMPL knocked out. A big blow to the players of DRS. This can blow off their ego right here. XMPL needs to be back upon his feet. DRS, all the players on the back lines trying to provide that cover. XMPL. Oh, he's barely alive, and eventually he bleeds to his own death. DRS, they've lost out on a diamond. And soon enough, that's going to sting them in the future. XMPL not inside the game anymore. And DRS, these guys will need to try and disengage from this fight, because Undergang Slayers currently, it does seem like they're in the driver's seat of things. Killer Viti's way too far away from this fight. Maybe he's trying to make an off angle, but I highly doubt it's going to be worth it.
And even Aegon Excited, they have been eliminated after getting 6 eliminations on the 14th spot. Now we have 13 teams, 46 players remaining. Under Gang Slayers having only 2 players out of 2. 1 player already dealt with. And DRS fighting from the blue. Gangster ASL Well, he's trying to make a safe escape from this
Guest,
position and
বাজে
saw
না।
the players
যাই
of
হোক,
DRS
DRS
because
এর
they are
killer
already
whitey,
getting
তো
the
সুযোগ আছে
damage from the
জোনের
blue,
জোন ধরবে।
and only 2
A1
players
দেখা যাক কি
remaining from
match
this side.
করতে পারে।
At this
A1
point, they
এর
need
তো
to
এই
prioritize
DRS
the
এর
circle
killগুলো
already
bounce
going from a southern rotation, and they
চ্যানেলের মনে
might
মারতে যাবে যাইতেছে
already walk in towards another team, but looks
হ্যাঁ,
like
গেছে ডিজে দ্বারাই দেখ
they are looking for the confirmation point onto the players of
Oh, that
UG,
is
where
such a
Gangsta is
nice.
still hiding, but looks like he has been spotted down. And with the DBS in his hand, it's a 1v2 situation. Gives a lot of damage to one of the player of DRS, takes him down, but a good cover
Bhalo
fire
try
also
korche.
coming in. And with that, Undergang Slayers has also been eliminated on the 13th spot.
Under Gang Slayer bites the dust. TRS
জিজি
get
জিজি
full-fledged control of that fight. Nicely done. Good gaming in front of us. All the 4 players looking pretty healthy, and also they've got a solid position to play with. Hora Esports in the previous game. Unfortunately, things slipped out of their hands quite a bit. Head was spotted, but not able to capitalize onto that. It's completely fine though. Souls. He does exactly know where the players of Hora Esports are. Another way too close call. No fears able to just sneak away in the nick of time. GG. This is one of those teams that has never shied away from the fights, even though they're not doing too good in this PMCO. And with this, you can only take one thing. GG is here to gain that experience. They're here to gain that momentum from this tournament. And this is what you need to do if you're one of the new teams inside the competition. Play the tournaments to gain the experience, because you know you're not at the level of the other teams who are known, who have already been participating inside the competition for a long time. And I would say GG, they've been doing quite okay in their firefights. I like their stances. The problem is the communication, which is something that can be worked upon as time passes by.
I think they can work on it, as the next circle right now is going to take a shift, and the circle is favoring the players of Vikings a lot. Even
ভালো জোন, ভালো একটু কনফিডেন্টলি একটু কিল জন্য খেললেই হয়, একটু কিল নিতে পারলেই হয় ভাই, কি করে
to some extent favoring the players of 4 Raw, who are on the eastern edge of the circle. Hora also trying to make their way, migrate inside the circle. On the southern end is where I'm concerned. So many teams are present over there. The possibility of third party will also tend to increase. But right now, DRS Gaming Nepal, Killer YT, well, he's having a little bit of the trouble with his vehicle. And speaking of Killer YT, he impressed me a lot last year in PMPL with his performance. But this season of PMCO looks like he's completely missing out. On the other side, Ryuk from the side of Raw with the mini tap shots is dishing out a lot of damage to the players of POC.
POC এর প্লেয়াররাই ম্যাচ কিন্তু ভালো ট্রাই করছে।
Raw 4 Raw is one of those teams that has astonished me personally.
যদি ঢুকতে পারে ভালো মতো,
Let's see what they can do. And this is a team that is currently in the top 5 too, so this team is a walking threat for a lot of the teams.
Hora কিন্তু 4
Raw, a team that cannot be underestimated. Let's see what the play it has for them, because soon enough things are...
সালা আমার নেটওয়ার্কের সমস্যা। আহারে সারা সব আসতেছে কিন্তু ভিডিওটা চলতেছে না। কি এক মুসিবত।
Oh man. The util barrage that's there currently onto these guys. It's crazy. Rogue being found, and then the constant barrage as well. The damage just keeps and flowing up. A good knock, though. Forra tried their best to fight back, but it's Hora Esports for you. They're not going to be that easy to deal with. Forra has been eliminated. The consistency has clearly dropped off from Forra. Even yesterday, we did not really see towards the end of the day Forra popping off, so that's a big issue for them. Hora Esports, though, they're here to claim that first spot, and they're clearly playing like the champs they are as well. No Fear was the only casualty from that fight, but look at Viking Esports slipping under the radar. So far, these guys haven't engaged in a single fight.
Yeah, they are being little silent, and for now, speaking of the plus of Horror Esports as well, we have already cleared the entirety of the eastern side of the circle. Speaking of A51, they have the southern compound control, and GG, they managed to eliminate the plus of Leo Esports, getting 2 defeat points as well. And Vikings could be the next target as the Molotov goes in, but no connection whatsoever. The plus of Vikings are for now safe, but there is a possibility of third party also happening. But THD Mighty takes down one player from the side of A1 and B1.
Finish.
DXD, Devilish Dragons going up against the players of Avon Esports up close and personal. And they're just getting eliminated like that. So tough for them. And then Good Gaming 2 getting shot at. Oh no, from the far France, the players of Hora Esports. Farhad knocked out on the verge of getting eliminated too. Hora Esports, they're quite desperate to claim this elimination point. Farhad squeezes himself behind that tree, but eventually the resurrection should be there too, because the cavalry is doing a fantastic job in providing that support. They're utilizing the smoke grenades to make sure that Farhad can cross on over to the opposite side. Devil X Dragons has been eliminated from the game. A1NP is the one to eliminate the players of Devil X Dragon. Finally, it seems like A1 Esports 2 are waking up. But all it takes is that one single mistake for A1 NB to get eliminated from the game, and I hope that mistake's not going to happen.
Well, GG, Suke is already having a clear line of sight onto the players of A1 and B, and looks like A1 is not in the best of the position because I can see a team in the view also in the close vicinity. So yeah, there is a possible threat for A1 and B, and so for the players of Vikings, GG, they do have a certain height advantage as well. And looks like one of the player from A1 and B has already been knocked out. Vikings SS still trying to provide support to the teammates as he takes down Sire of GG with a beautiful grenade. A follow-up grenade should be coming in, but looks like a Molotov has been exchanged between GG and Vikings, as Soul is trying to give revive to his fallen teammate.
Vikings
ভালো প্লেয়ার আমি অনেক দিন ধরে এটাকে ফলো করি কেন ওই ওয়ান না ভাই ইজি ম্যাচ
the players of Hora Esports. Man, this whole terrain is just cursed.
এদের কাছে
you might as well
বিকের কাছে কিন্তু গাড়িও নেই
in this one, because in the front lines it's also the players of A1 Esports that are getting pushed on, if I'm not wrong, by the players of AST. So even for A1 Esports, the problems keep on knocking their doors, but at least this time they're somewhere in the top 6. So that can be a decent outing for the players of A1. Yes, just like that, they have been eliminated from the game too, and I think so is Zio, who managed to single-handedly eliminate the entirety of A1 NB. Zio has 6 elimination points so far.
Well, 4 elimination in the name of A51 as well, and all the 4 players also alive. I can already see one of the player is in the center of the circle. He can be that anchor sheet to bring all his teammates inside the safety net of the circle. Remaining teams still trying to find a piece of land. Might go for the airdrop as well, but GG Suki finds a beautiful knock onto Incust. And looking for the confirmation point as well as trying to find their way inside the circle. Sky Horror also knocks down Soul. A good trade coming in. Let's see if we can get the confirmation point also.
I don't know.
Man, Good Gaming, they've lost out on Solus. The resurrection should be there onto him soon. Solus should be back upon his feet. Malik trying to back away from Hora Esports. Oh, look at the nade being tossed. This could have been really close. AST, Zio was out in the open, gets knocked out, and finished. The entirety of AST has been eliminated instantly right after. Solid stuff.
Nice.
Good Gaming getting pushed on.
2v2 fight.
Yeah, Vikings getting pushed on by the players of Good Gaming.
Nate Molly kisu
Not
kar.
exactly sure what's going on over there.
Nice,
Fraud
Simon,
knocked
nice.
out. Solid stuff. Vikings. A-Man was the one to find that opening. And then the instant rundown from the side of Vikings is something that the players of GG are not going to expect. GG tried their best to obliterate this compound. They tried their best to invade the territory of Vikings. But the Vikings instantly shook them away like they did not even mean anything. From the far phrase, the players of A51 trying to go for the constant spray too. But still, Vikings, they're quite chipped up, they're quite low, especially even from the back as the wall of death pressuring them to leave that area.
Certainly, and even Concha from the side of A51 is putting a lot of pressure onto the players of Vikings. Looks like Vikings, they won't be able to make it inside the safety of the circle, and there comes the elimination with only one element. They get bit by on the third spot, but 9 defeat points to the players of A51. They are looking pretty strong, and all the 4 players alive, they have the numbers advantage as well, as they're trying to pin down the players of Horror. But look at the position of Sky Horror. He's a little far away, but looks like he has been spotted down by Rex, so no element of surprise over there. Malik also trying to cook a grenade, and so is his teammate, as A51 Rex with the UMP-45s already closing in this distance, as his teammates are going for the flank angle and trying to surround the players of Team Horror.
Oh, A51. At this point in time, I like the split from the side of Horror Esports. Sky a little bit far away. Pretty much just holding the sidelines, making sure if anyone overextends from the right side, Sky is going to be the one to catch him off guard. But now at the end of the day, Sky as well looking forward to reunite with his team, because Horror Esports, they need some backup, they need some cavalry. Concha knocked out, a star player for this team who's been making the call so far, who's been leading the team so far. Concha getting knocked out, this is not a good news. And that was their elimination leader too inside the game. That means A51 might just drop down a little bit low when it comes to the morals. But Horror Esports, the constant pressure that they're looking for to apply has now been put to sleep for a little bit, because the players of A51, they're playing a little bit passive. They're not really peeking out any angles, just playing so defensive. Probably they want the players of Horror Esports to push in their crosshairs, which is highly unlikely to happen. So both these teams, once again, are now probably going to be in a Mexican standoff.
Sky Horror along with his teammate Malik, and
final fight
charging in towards the side of A51. As soon as the smoke will decimate, the players will be spotted down. For now, there is a lot of patience that is being showcased by both these teams. Kind of a stalemate situation, as they are trying to capitalize on each other's mistake. On Rex, I can see only one Molotov, so not too many throwables or utilities present with the players of A51. And Rex again trying to find some information, some angle onto the players of Horror. But Malik finally finds it and takes down DT19 and gets an instant confirmation point as well. And now only 2 players remaining from the side of A51, as grenades are being flung over, but no connection whatsoever. Sky Horror also looking very good.
Oh, smokes. It's a massive trail. Horror Esports do realize from the back is the wall of death trying to close in, and their backs are against the wall too. So A51 right now can be in the driver's seat of things. So I like that smoke trail that was being created by the side of Horror Esports, just denying the vision completely of A51. But the smokes are now starting to run out, so you need to be a little bit more quick, Horror Esports. Tossing out another smoke. Rums is ready with the DBS in his hands. All it takes is one solid shot to the chest, and that might just seal the deal. A51, they've spread themselves out quite far apart from each other. Rumps getting found instantly, and that's where the players of Horror Esports get the advantage, and just like that, A51 has been eliminated. Horror Esports to come out on top, and this team is already in a pretty solid spot in the overall standings. Now I just want to find out where exactly have they found themselves in the overall standings.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out very soon. But Horror, yes, they do have good elimination points as well in their pockets. And speaking of the yesterday's performance, it was not so good in the map of Miramar. Yes, they had a very high fragging game, but finally they were looking for a winner chicken dinner, and they get it. I'm very sure they are going to propel themselves in, I think, top 4 or top 3 maybe after this win?
Pretty much, I guess. They should be able to do so. I think so, maybe on the second
Arey
spot as well. I would not be surprised if they are on the second spot in the overall standings.
in-game sound.
But that was a 19 points
It's a last,
chicken
guys,
dinner,
after-
ladies and gentlemen.
next
And
match
as you guys all know, Hora Esports, that was a
one
well-needed
disappointment
chicken
for
dinner too.
Lopez.
As I mentioned, today's day is the most important day without a doubt. And yes, as I said, they're pretty much going to be on the second spot. Hora Esports toppling over Aegon XIA. And with that being said, too, ladies and gentlemen, 9 eliminations, 19 points in total,
সবাই
with
ভালো
total
থাকেন
damage of
সুস্থ থাকেন
2,315. Hora Esports, they are way too close from claiming that first spot in the overall standings. One bad game from Raw, and Hora Esports can topple them over. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys all know the tradition. Now it's time for us to toss to a short commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
আল্লাহ হাফেজ